Hey, everybody. Welcome to KISS.
Keep it simple, sister.
Hey, Diana.
Hello, Samantha. How are you?
We are doing well today, aren't we?
I'm fabulous,
I,
as always.
I am fantastic. I'm
Love it.
I am ecstatic. Um, I'm all kinds of things. If I keep talking myself, I'm going to just like keep talking myself up and feel super great.
And so I want to share something with everyone, and I didn't clear this with you, so I hope it's okay.
Okay.
On If you're not following me on It's Diana Sullivan on Instagram, and what I think the same thing on Facebook. If you're not Facebook friends with me, you need to be, because my new thing is that I'm doing WWDD. What would Diana do?
I love
And
that.
they're very short reels, and I'm going to share them into our Facebook group. But when you just said rise, get your energy up or whatever,
Uh-huh.
a lot of those little quick tips are the things that we've shared in the podcast along the way, and we've explained a bunch about it, but
Uh-huh.
I'm just kind of shortening them to teeny tinies just to kind of remind everyone,
And it's when you're
try
in the
this,
moment. Is it when
do
when
this.
you're in the moment and you're feeling it and this is how you're getting through it? Or like you just
No, so let me give you an example. One of it was about glimmers, and I talked about what glimmers were, that it's paying attention to the goodness around you, the little things. And then
Mhm.
that one I happened to talk about something that happened at the grocery store with me. So it was kind of like a flip side, but it's real short. So like I'm trying to keep the reels to like 30 seconds, 35 seconds.
Mhm.
And I may do more, but I just reminded everybody that a glimmer was just paying attention to something good that's happening, because that helps to raise your vibration. So that's kind of my idea. We'll see how that comes out. I think there's maybe like two or three of them in my reels right now, but I'll try and remember to
So
share them into the Facebook group.
we're going to have bracelets that say WWDD.
Yep.
WWDD.
WWDD. What would Diana do?
What would Diana do?
I don't know, but
I think
she's
I'm
too
supposed to go in
loud
with
right
this New
now. I'm
Jersey
pretty sure.
accent. I don't know. What would Diana do?
Yeah.
Um, well, okay. Welcome to KISS. Let me really welcome everybody. Yeah, so this is us chatting. Um, So, welcome to KISS. What we're all about here is the tips, tricks, techniques, and the products that Diana and I have accumulated and verified and tossed aside and then picked up again because life changes and we've discovered, oh my God, this really does work. We were idiots before and so forth. So, there's all kinds of things that we've tried, we've utilized, we've given to everybody else in our lives. They've rejected it, but we've still used it. And we're sharing all this stuff with you. And what I'm saying right now is germane to our topic that we're going to talk about today.
Yes.
But I just want to make sure y'all felt very welcomed into this podcast today because we are going to get into the nitty gritty. Let's remind everybody that this is a women's only group. And we designed it that way because we have common experiences. Women tend to be nurturers. They tend to be the ones who um, we talk to each other. We explore. We have to find the solutions for our kids, for our family members, and so and because we're very good at that skill of talking, but it's community, it's connections and all that kind of stuff. We bring in so much information that's so vital to the family and to our own well-being. And then because we're so loving, we want to share. So this is what our topic is about today. I've got something for that.
It's because we're problem solvers. And I love how you solve a problem for me, I solve a problem for you. We're willing to talk to our friends, our family, our whatever, if something is going on and we think they might have something that will help with that issue, that problem, that challenge, whatever it is.
Like you have a girlfriend you'll go to for one thing and a girlfriend you'll go to for a different thing. We all
Correct.
you're my Swiss Army knife though.
Well, and I was gonna say, I pretty much go to you for everything, so there are some other people, but we're each other's Swiss Army knife, I think. And then if we don't know the answer, then we duck out to the other people that we know could help us figure that out.
Mhm,
So I came up with this topic, and it was mainly because we've done podcasts before where we talked about grounding. And when I find that I'm all stressed out and, I just feel like something's kind of up, I've been walking outside in my bare feet, grounding, just walking around on the dirt and stuff. Well, I live in Pennsylvania, and you can't do that in November, December, January, or February. So I was kind of bummed about it because I was like, all right, well, I'm going to have to use some of the other things, the water. And you can go back and find our grounding podcast, and we'll link it in the description too. But there are other ways to do that. But I was talking to another friend who is not my Swiss Army knife, but also an auxiliary helper. Um, and we were talking about grounding mats. And I know you have a grounding mat. You've mentioned it before, but I didn't have one. I didn't have any. Um, and so instead of worrying about it now this is what we women do. And I'm here to remind you, you matter, and we should solve our problems as well as everybody else's problems.
mhm,
So, if you've been here for a while, or even if you haven't, my husband has Parkinson's disease, and he also has had several strokes, and so his memory's not working real well. But every morning he wakes up and talks about how his shoulders hurt and his neck hurts, and he's had a shoulder issue because he has rotator cuff bone on bone. So for years and years and years, he's had that issue, but it's been compounded by the Parkinson's.
mm,
So I learned that grounding mats will help with inflammation and will also help with pain and a lot of things. Because and you can explain how this works because I'm not all that up on it, but I got one for him for his shoulder,
mhm.
and then I thought to myself, "Okay, well, this will work for me because I can't go outside and put my feet on the frozen ground." I mean, I tried it and it was uncomfortable.
So you got it for him first? You didn't get it for the purpose of putting your feet on the ground?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And usually when I get things for him or I suggest, and that was the whole point of this episode and the next episode. Usually I try to solve his issues and I try to tell him, "Hey, I've got something for you." And he says,
What is it with
he
the
won't
resistance?
I don't understand it. And if I'm in pain, I want anything I can get to help me get out of pain.
Yeah.
Like, I'm looking for it, and before this whole metaphysical journey and my awakening story, my thought would be call the doctor, let's get a prescription, let's, something. I just don't wanna be in this pain. I'm gonna figure out a way that I'm not in it. And what I found is through, the grounding mat, Moringa, we're gonna talk about in a little bit, through all of those things, I've been able to solve my problems through a more natural way of doing things. And truly, the grounding and the moringa, I believe, have completely changed. I don't know if it's the chemistry of my body, if it's the energy of my body. It's a whole bunch of things. It all kind of works together. But I feel good. I feel good every day, all day. And if something starts to bother me, I double up on the moringa, or now I will double up on putting my feet on the grounding mat
Mhm.
first. Like I'll go to that first, and I can't even get him to try it. So it's crazy.
Well, okay, so let's back up for just a moment and kind of give everybody a refresher on how, the whole thing works. When your body is signaling pain, I mean, granted, you could have sliced your hand,
Right.
or fallen down
I'm
when you were
talking
walking
more
around your
like
neighborhood.
muscle pain
Uh,
or
well, yeah, but no, but it
arthritis-y
doesn't.
stuff.
Yeah, but w- every everything you're experiencing with that, it is your emotions, and your emotions are being affected by, like, your guides kind of going, hey, pay attention to this. There's some stuck energy here. There's, stuff going on there. So, when we talk about, um, like, remember when, and I just mentioned, like, when you were walking through your neighborhood and you were talking and you fell down, and that whole thing,
And broke my rib. I thought I sprained my boob, but I broke my rib.
scratched your hands up and everything. Yeah. Um,
Yeah.
but immediately, what I got, your guides were like, you have got to pay attention. You've got to be in the present. You have to be okay. So when we're getting these things going on, this pain, there's something out of sync. It starts as an energetic thing, like maybe it's, your emotions, you're just feeling off or uncomfortable, or you're taking medicines in which, like I'm getting a hit on that with Wedge, that, you're taking medicines into your body that are conflicting with each other, that are not quite right for your body. But what are you going to do? Because now you're so far down the road, you're taking this to cover this, to help with this. So you've got all of this stuff messing with your energy, and just that energetic blockage right there
Mhm.
creates pain, inflammation, and so forth. And if left untreated, and you don't get to the source of the emotion, of what's causing it, then it just continues to fester, and then it becomes, like wherever you're weakest in your body or wherever it's linked to in your body, it then begins to become a more serious problem, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's when I just wanted to kind of give that caveat, because you're saying, because this is our natural 3D, worldview, is the moment we feel pain, I don't want to feel pain. So how do I deal with this? But I'm learning. I was about to say I've learned, but I'm still reminding myself. So I have a book called Metaphysical Anatomy, but I'm sure if you Googled online or you asked Chat GPT or whatever, and you said, what is going on emotionally that would cause this kind of discomfort in my body, I bet something would come up. And if we would pay attention to that first, and while we're seeking pain relief, I think that it would be a deeper process.
Yeah. And then and I love how you always give your advice is feel the emotion, feel your way through it.
Mhm.
Specifically, how do we do that? Like,
Oh,
I don't wanna be uncomfortable.
yeah.
So I don't wanna feel the me personally. I
Yeah.
don't wanna feel the emotion. I wanna distract myself so I'm not feeling the emotion. So do you have
And your body's just
a s
going, "Pay attention."
pay attention,
Um,
pay attention.
well, I mean, it's kind of one of those things, like, so, my wrist, let's take my wrist, for example. Everybody knows I'm dealing with this. Now it's been diagnosed as de Quervain's tenosynovitis. But
Say
in
that 3 times fast.
Yeah, but it's that I can't separate this. Like, if I do it with resistance, I can feel a pain right along here.
Mm.
And so now my thumb is numb. And it feels it anyway. So this happened, and I thought, oh, I must have hit it against a door jamb or something, is my first thought. And that could have been what started it. I have no idea. Um, but I just started rubbing stuff into it, and I wasn't paying attention. And it was kind of getting a little bit worse and a little bit worse. And I'm like, this is not healing itself. This is not just a bruise. What's going on? So for me, I was like, I want answers. So that time I went to my metaphysical anatomy book and I looked it up. And sure enough, how it knows this, I have no idea. But it says
It's
that,
always right on. Whenever you look something up in there, you're like,
yep.
"Yep, that's what's happening,
And you can
okay."
look up another symptom and it would not apply. I do that,
Right,
like, because I'm
right.
like double checking. Um, but I like proof. But anyway, it said that I had resistance. There's a situation in which I kind of felt powerless, and that I had resistance to, and that it was involving a female authority figure. Well, this was all about my trip to New Zealand. Like, I immediately knew I was resisting this trip to New Zealand because I knew that it was going to affect kind of the momentum that I was trying to build up. But my mom had made it so easy for me to say yes, so hard for me to say no.
Uh-huh.
And,
And
and
she
so
was the authority figure, your
Yep.
mom.
And so this is the result. And because I didn't like I don't know quite what I could have done, maybe boundaries, maybe said no, but because I didn't do anything and I also didn't support my feelings on it, I just kind of continued. I got through the trip, but I didn't like wear any support. I didn't do anything for it. And now it's fully inflamed because I let it go into that situation. So when you say, what do you do? You first, I mean, actually, you first stop and ask, is this mine? Because so many of us pick up on other people's pain and issue. So when you say that, if it's not yours, it leaves, it evaporates. So that's the first thing. Then the second thing
Is
would
this
be,
mine? Is
yeah.
this mine?
hmm
Okay.
It's really so you do that for emotions and pain. And then you go, okay, so what is this related to? Where is this coming from? And so that's when you do the search on the internet, or maybe you're intuitive and you can figure it out. Or just look at, you could just say, what situation am I resisting? What situation am I unhappy with? Because there's always something right there that's going to pop into your head that you're upset with. And at that point, you could do tapping, and just talk to yourself about, this pain that I'm feeling, this pain. I don't like this pain. Why is this pain happening? So, you do the whole, this is the tapping bit. Why am I feeling this pain? This pain's really bothering me, and then you take yourself a couple of times through it and then you say, what is the source of this pain? And it'll pop into your head. So, anyway, like now this is a process that I'm going through and it's
Uh-huh.
and it's huge because I let it get to the point where it's really stuck energy. And it's I I've worked through some of it and it's weird because it's not literally just related to my mother. Like when you start to go through this process, you'll start to look at, well, when was the first time that I felt like I didn't have a choice? It's like it
Deep.
goes so deep. Yeah. And so
Yeah.
all of a sudden you're now clearing out a lot of other stuff, but that's okay because we're in a period of time where we need to bring all of the garbage up and throw it out.
Well, and also for those of us that it doesn't come naturally to, or that can't just listen to what you're saying and do these things, reach out to Samantha and make an appointment and she can guide you. But the other thing that came into my mind, which is my guides now, I'm listening to them, is send us a message. Both of us have the Metaphysical Anatomy book. We can look it up for you and send you a message back. Now, what you want to do with that information, you need a little guidance
Mhm.
from Samantha, not
Yep.
from me because I really don't know how to guide you, but I'll be happy to help read it out of my or send you, a screenshot or whatever of my metaphysical. If you are really interested in this,
Mhm.
we'll give you the link to the Metaphysical Anatomy book. You can get it on Amazon or whatever, and you can have your own, but it's like a dictionary, guys. It's like this thick. It's crazy. But I forget to go look it up. Samantha's like, "Oh, okay, well, let's check this out and
Well,
let's."
I'm so used to doing it for clients and stuff that it's
Yeah, yeah.
become my go-to. And typically what I end up telling people, you know, family members, everything, if there's an emotional pain, I'm like, go talk to someone, go to a therapist, go talk to someone who's trained, a counselor, a healer, something, go talk to someone to work it out. And if they're in pain, I'm generally like, and I try to feel it out a bit before I tell them, but I'm like, go to an acupuncturist, go to a Reiki, someone who does Reiki healing, go to a chiropractor, so there's all of these, yes, Tylenol, and ibuprofen, whatever, Advil, Aleve, all that stuff,
Mhm.
you know, we they're so dangerously available and we don't pay attention to when we're taking them, whether we have food on our stomach or not, how much we're taking. Like we kind of use it like it's candy.
Yeah.
And if you ever have been on Advil like I have, ibuprofen for an extended period of time and then gone off of it, um, you will feel every ache and pain that ever existed in your body throughout your whole lifetime. It is the worst thing coming off of it when you've been on it, like, at prescription strength.
Yeah, yeah,
So you really, you wanna deal with this in a different way. Okay, so that's all that stuff, but let's go back to what prompted this whole conversation,
yes,
and that's how you and I find this stuff, and we wanna share it with family members.
right.
So do you find the, challenge is sharing it, with your husband, because masculine, all that kinda stuff, or is it with your kids as well?
Um, it's almost like the masculine husband thing is like a brick wall.
Mhm,
Yeah, I'm not even gonna consider it, and then I try and, like, in bits and pieces. Okay, well, you know this and this. Okay, well, you know that. Stop it. I just stop. My daughters, on the other hand,
mhm,
are more open to it. And they trust me because I've solved their problems before. I've helped them figure things out. I've led them to those things. So they were resistant a little bit,
mhm.
but and I'm seeing a lot of I'm just thinking in terms of moringa, which I love, 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 love. And I'm gonna tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But they resisted trying it, but they saw how much it's helping me, and they're more willing to listen to the facts, listen to the stories, listen to the whatever.
Yeah, it may still
And
take a bit, but
yeah, yeah, but eventually they will. I feel like my husband will never listen to it. It doesn't matter. He's made a decision. He's not even going to consider it. And I hear so many other people saying the same thing.
mhm.
And if they would only try, I don't know. I think as women too, we're willing to try things and see if it works.
Well, the moment like we see, like I just saw something about um, on TikTok. There's this whole thing about this is better than Ozempic or nature's Ozempic,
Yeah.
which is the plug word. But because everyone's going to go, oh, what's that? So let me just say, um,
Yeah.
it is lemon balm. Which I've used lemon balm to help me fall asleep. It not help me fall asleep, but it keeps you in a cocoon of sleep, and
Uh-huh.
it smells like tricks. I don't know why, the cereal tricks, but, um, and everybody that I get, I put that association and then I have them smell it. They're like, "Oh, tricks." But anyway, so it's lemon balm, plus ginger, plus lemon, plus honey. And so there's a process that you go through to get all the best nutrients, and then you let it sit for a while, and then you have like a tablespoon in your water every morning. So, we know lemon's good for us to have in the water, but
Oh
now
yeah.
you're adding the elements of the lemon balm plus the ginger, really. And the honey is
Uh-huh.
antimicrobial, which keeps it from going bad. So,
Okay.
so anyway, that's a whole thing. I should probably put down nature's ozemic. Okay, I will write this
Well, and
down because people are going to
I
wonder.
just yes, and I just saw that Ozempic is now causing people, they're finding that it's causing, people to have memory loss. So, if you're skinny and you can't remember why you wanted to be skinny, is that a thing?
That is,
So, there's side effects of everything, and
yeah,
people jump on board and they're like, "Oh, let me do this, let me do that." But you just like you were saying, the Advil,
yeah,
there's side effects to
moderation.
all of that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Because it's not naturally forming in our
Ex-
body, like something that is our body can identify and know what to do with.
Yeah.
Okay, so going back to the resistance, what I find, okay, and we're just shooting the shit here. We have no idea, like,
Yeah.
but human nature is what we're going off of, and what some 20, 30 years experience being married and everything, or having dealt with men, or whatever you want to say. But it's almost like there's this thing where they have to come up with the answers, or maybe there's a weakness or something, that for you to suggest means that there's a chink in their armor or something.
Yeah.
Like I try to understand it only so I can get around it,
Well, and
and
the thing is, how much energy do we use trying to get around it and trying? But if I mix it in with something, maybe he'll try. You
Oh,
gotta
you have
wanna.
come up with every like, I have tried to give you every solution. You've tried to come
Yep.
up with every solution, and it's crazy. But, like, my son is a bit more open to it. So, again, I think it's that
It's a
old paradigm,
generational
new
thing
paradigm.
as well as a male-female thing, I think.
Yeah.
Well, and so one of the things I wanted to make sure that we get to
Oh,
today
uh-huh,
is
yeah.
that and we're gonna link this. There's a documentary about moringa, and they're calling it the miracle plant, and people in the Philippines and like really hot arid places have known forever, sub-Saharan Africa, some places in Asia where it can grow. This plant like grows everywhere. They've used it as medicine for centuries.
Mhm,
um, so I was watching this documentary, and I've been convinced because I know how it makes my body feel so much better, and I'm not crinking and crunching and all of that kind of stuff. Um, but after watching that documentary, I was like, wow, everybody needs to know about this. Everybody needs to try it. Try it. Oh my gosh. But and there's like about a million things, like they're giving it to nursing mothers and when kids have malnutrition,
mhm.
because it has so many vitamins and minerals and aminos, and it's got protein in there. It's got all this stuff. Um, but that led me to get my detective hat on, and I looked up moringa and Parkinson's disease. And so I found that there are studies where they're working with moringa to see if it helps with Alzheimer's, if it helps with Parkinson, any of the brain kind of maladies,
Did see the
strokes.
Alzheimer's one. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think they're really doing a lot with that. But one of the reasons why it's so effective
Mhm.
is that it's has not been grown in America with the GMO, all of that stuff. Like, so it hasn't been altered. It's in its natural state when you get it,
Mhm.
and it's bio available. Like
Yeah,
your body can use it to do what it's supposed to do, and that's why people see such great results with it.
yeah.
So I just want to make sure everybody watches that documentary. If you want to order some from lab from me, please do. But one way or the other, everybody's got to get some moringa into their diet
Well, and,
for real.
so I went down a rabbit hole after you sent me that documentary. So I watched that, and then I got into, some of these other things that were coming up. Um, and I'm gonna, um, link another one that was the benefits moringa, which goes
Okay.
through, like, all of the different, it's A, C, and E vitamins and the calcium aspects. So it goes through all of that stuff. So then I get in a conversation with ChatGPT last night, and it was
Oh,
so cool. I love how conversational it's become. It's like a whole new thing. So
it's
we're
like you
just
have a friend. I've watched you do it, and it's like, hey, buddy, tell me about this. Oh,
yeah,
I was thinking this. Were you thinking
and
that? I don't
he's
know.
always very considerate how he responds. Well, yes, I hear you, but
Is he still calling you gorgeous? Hello, gorgeous. I like that
no,
part.
he was calling me. Yeah, it was
Beautiful.
gorgeous, but before that, it was uh m- master or something. I can't remember. Like I change it up what he calls me. So right now I'm just like, just call me Samantha. And he always remembers now. Like it's so cool. But anyway,
Good.
okay, so
Yeah.
digression. Um, but so in this conversation we were having, I was like, okay, so they always say it's like the potassium of 8 bananas and the whatever of this and the what. Okay, so um when they're making those claims, because that is the infographic that's out there that everybody sees, and
Yeah.
they just
Yeah.
want to bring some reality in, okay?
Yeah.
When they're saying it has 8 times the potassium of a banana, um, they're saying that I want to make sure I have this correct. That like compared to 8 bananas, if you took all of that potassium, um, percentage wise, and so it's a percentage wise within, so it's not like you, I'm trying to remember how to say this because it's not an exact thing.
Well, and
um
for me, the way I look at it, and I think you want you want it to be accurate, and I get that.
I wanna
But
know
the way
exactly how.
I look at it is I'm getting a bunch of potassium that I wouldn't have gotten otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm getting the amino acids that my body needs but can't produce itself. I'm getting,
Mhm.
and the thing that I thought was really cool is for vegetarians, it has protein in it. I don't know how much,
Okay.
but it's another
So there's my
source.
point. Um,
Right.
but in figuring this out, at
Yeah.
least I know what I'm shooting for and how
Got it.
much it's supplementing, how much it's helping. So I asked
Uh-huh.
ChatGPT, what in it gives you in grams how much protein is in 2 tablespoons of moringa.
What
So
did
that
it
was the
say?
thing that I was trying to figure out. And it
Yeah.
said that I would have to have 2.5 cups of moringa in order to equal 27 grams of protein, because that was the claim
Okay.
that this person was making. Um,
Uh-huh.
and so, what everything that it kept coming back to was that you need to have a varied diet. That you can't just go, this is it, this is the only thing. But for anything that you're adding into your diet, that this is the most beneficial because it's almost like full spectrum going across the board,
Yeah. Yeah.
assisting your body in so many different areas. And that's what they mean when they say superfood. It doesn't mean that it replaces your food. It means
Right.
it enhances everything that you are consuming into your body, like it's so I thought that was like, yeah, again, I want to know in what areas, what amounts is it going to help? And that like helped me tremendously.
Well, and because it's called a dietary supplement, or at least the one through lab is,
Hmm.
supplement to me means extra.
Yes.
It's helping in the areas that you're not getting through other. But I guess I always could, because I'm not a vegetarian, I'm not a vegan, whatever. I'm always baffled by how do they get the amount of protein that they need? How do they get the amount of, the things that you would get from dairy products or meats or whatever, that kind of thing. So I just thought that it was interesting that that's another way to supplement
Exactly.
their
Yeah.
food.
And they have to get it through a lot of they have to, in other words, they have to have an extremely varied diet in order to get
Yeah.
protein from. And there was one other thing that like when you said supplement, so many times we take supplements and we really can't tell. You're going through your day-to-day life, you really can't tell. But Diana and I can attest to the fact that when you take this, you feel a difference. You feel
And when you
solid.
don't take it after you've been taking it, you can feel the difference.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and so like Tessa, my daughter, she was like, she wasn't feeling well. I said, just try this. And she is now so locked into it. And she knows that, and you said this, and now she's starting to do it whenever she's not feeling good, doubling up on it and not having any issues. Like, I mean, not having like not falling into the cold, or if she had already gotten a cold because she wasn't paying attention or she wrote herself too hard, she'll start doing two, doubling up, and then she feels so
Uh,
much better.
well, and I was telling Samantha yesterday, since I've been drinking moringa, I haven't been sick. I haven't been sick,
Yeah.
which is crazy because, you always get sick, but I haven't. So the anti-inflammatory part is crazy good for me,
Mhm.
and the immune support
Yeah.
is crazy good for me. Um,
And there's
so
all
that's
the
my
stuff with gut
testament. I'm
health and
not
everything.
making any medical claims or whatever. Yeah, and the gut health, like I just feel good. And for many, 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 many years, I didn't feel good.
Yeah. Um,
Many.
so I wanna round this out for everyone because like this is a good thing going into the season. We know that there's potential of everyone, getting sick and all this kind of stuff. And we're going to do a part two, and we're probably going to talk a little bit more about relationships and dealing with these kinds of concepts and stuff. Going more into maybe, the woo woo or just finding different paths in life and how you navigate with family and spouses and that kind of thing. Um, but our main gist with this, just to make a point here, is that you can't help people that don't want to be helped. You can sit there and you can figure it out and try to find different ways to share with them, but the whole adage, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. It's like
Yeah.
you can leave the information out there, but you're going to exhaust yourself. It's got to be their idea when it comes to men in general, of a certain age, that, they got to figure it out themselves. And you can try to be clever and leave all these things, but they're generally not going to listen to you. They're going to listen to people of authority. They're not going to see you as
And I
authority.
don't know why they don't think I'm a person of authority because I totally am.
Well, yeah, because my kids just say, "Mom, you're pharma mom," not meaning
Yeah.
pharmaceuticals, but like I know everything. Like, well, rub Vicks,
Yeah, I
rub
know
on your,
things.
and they're just like, "Why would I do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Try it and see what happens." And they're like, "Holy cow, that works."
Right.
So it just.
All right. Well, let's wrap this one up. And
Mhm.
you're going to see us in the same clothes next week where we continue this
Part two.
discussion.
Yep.
Part two. All right.
Talk to you
See
later.
ya in a few or next
Bye.
week.